at no point in time was Patrick ever on top of you?
No.
At no point in time, once again, he never said he was going to kill you, right?
No.
Never said he was going to hit you.
No.
Never said he was going to kick your butt or do anything bad to you.
Not that I recall, no.
First up tonight, Christopher Schurr, the former Grand Rapids police officer charged with murder in the death of Patrick Lyoya, answers questions from the prosecuting attorney while on the witness stand today.
Schurr told the court that he was afraid for his life when he shot and killed Lyoya during a traffic stop back in 2022. The prosecution is arguing that Lyoya's death could have been avoided if Schurr had reacted differently.
Schurr spent just over 3 hours on the witness stand today. After his testimony, more witnesses for the defense were called, including an expert on the use of force cases.
Court's now been adjourned for the weekend. Testimony will resume Monday. News 8's Brittany Flowers has been covering this case for us all week long, and she joins us now live from outside of the courthouse. Brittany, what can you tell us about today's testimony?
Yeah, Sue and Brian, in that more than 3-hour testimony, Schurr testified he felt he'd exhausted all of his options the day he shot and killed Patrick Lyoya, that the knee strikes were ineffective, so he moved on to the taser, and that in the struggle over the weapon, his energy was depleted. He feared dying, so he fired the shot that killed Lyoya on April 4th of 2022. As you mentioned, 2 more defense witnesses took the stand after Schurr. David Blake spoke about auditory exclusion, which is a form of temporary hearing loss that can happen in high-stress situations. Louis Kleem was the last to testify today. He was called as an expert in police practices, policies, tactics, and use of force. Kleem says he doesn't agree with the experts brought forth by the prosecution Monday, and that there's no generally accepted police practices you can hold an officer to. Tactics, he says, are discretionary. There are no tactical solutions, just options, and that it's up to the officer to decide because there are many variables. He says although this is a tragic case, he's asked hundreds of officers what they're trained to do if someone takes their taser, and nearly everyone answered escalate to deadly force.
What is particularly relevant in this case is that Mr. Lyoya did not just take the weapon and throw it away. He took the weapon, transitioned hands, and held it in a position capable of being utilized with just a simple trigger press.
So 5 days, 23 witnesses. Ken Kolker, we just stepped out of the courtroom, the room we were moderating. We were following the case along with. What happens now?
Well, I'm not sure if this is the final witness, but he's one of the final witnesses for the defense. We'll be back Monday to wrap up. And then it's a matter of the defense resting its case. And, you know, after that, there'll be jury instructions. The judge has to go over jury instructions with the prosecutor and the defense. And it is during that time where it could be decided whether there could be what they call a lesser included offense that the jury gets to consider. But that's not been decided yet. I mean, it could be something as low as manslaughter. So, I mean, that's what happens next. And then it goes to, you know, the final closing arguments by both sides and then to the jury.
What have been some of the key takeaways? I know we talked about the expert opinions on whether Officer Schurr was reasonable in what he did that day.
Well, you know, I mean, it's been a case of dueling experts, but I think the jury and most everyone wanted to hear from Christopher Schurr. I mean, nobody knows, you know, the argument is nobody knows what was in his mind as this was going on, and people wanted to hear that, and the defense obviously figured that this was the best way to win their case despite the possible risks.
Do you think that could help or hurt the case?
Boy, that's so hard to say. It's up to the jury. I mean, it's a risky move, but it's a move obviously the defense decided it needed to take.
Okay. Of course, we don't know for sure the timeline of how long it will take for the jury to deliberate. We do know that they are bringing up that last expert witness again starting at 9 o'clock on Monday morning. So we will continue to follow this case and bring you the latest updates on air and online at woodtv.com. Ken will also have a recap from the 5th day of this trial coming up on News 8 at 6. Live in downtown Grand Rapids, Brittany Flowers, News 8.